Happy Black History Month, everybody. That's right, Pete. It is Monday, February 3rd in the United States and Canada. This is a show called What Chaos, and it is presented by Prize Picks. Don't shake your head when I say Black History Month. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code What Chaos. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks, run your game. I'm sitting next to my best friend, Pete Blackburn. Next to him is the great Ryan Lambert, and across the room is Sean DePaz. RL gets that reference.
Of course I do.
Across the room. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, howdy.
What's up?
Look at this nice old round table. Happy Black History Month, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I am pro.
You are pro. Yes.
Just for the record.
Big
everybody.
Ben Carson guy.
I would. Yes, yeah. Ben Carson is his guy. I'll tell you
What's
what.
going on with those pyramids, you know?
Not to make this a Ben Carson podcast, but when I first found out about Ben Carson, I was like, I don't think I'm going to like everything he has to say, but I'm going to watch a lot of this guy.
Just a fascinating figure.
Fascinating figure.
They made a movie about him because he was so good at brain surgery or heart surgery.
Brain
one
surgery,
of the two.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, Cuba Gooding Jr. plays.
It
It might have been a TV movie. It's called like Gifted Hands or something like that.
Cuba Gooding
Perfect.
Jr. playing a brain surgeon is very funny, even if it is Ben Carson.
I mean,
well,
Ben
that shows how
Carson-
good an actor he is.
Ben
He is
Carson
getting-
playing a brain surgeon is funny.
That's
Yeah.
true. You know what film I watched on the plane yesterday
What's
was The Apprentice. The Sebastian
Sebastian
Stan plays Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And I knew a lot of people were mad that movie existed because they were like, don't make a movie about Donald Trump. My understanding going in was it was about how he kind of came to be Donald Trump
That's
before he
exactly
came
right,
to be a politician.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh no, I want to learn about that. That guy was like a funny goofball, weird guy that none of us really cared about, but he made us laugh from time to time. I'll see how that happened.
Yeah.
Not the best movie, not the worst movie.
He's great in it, though.
Yeah, Sebastian Stan's a good actor, man.
I preferred A Different Man of the two that he did this year.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're both great.
Okay.
Or he's great in both of them. I should
RL,
say.
a big movie head.
That's right.
Also, I would say the most knowledgeable just hockey person I know from a standpoint of what is this? PD, people like that I go to, I say like, hey, like, what do you see? But if I say, hey, this trade just went down, we'll talk about plenty of trades today, RL can give me
What's
that
going on
guy's
here?
bad quicker than anybody else can. So Pete, if you could, please tell us what Ryan, Sean, yourself, and Dave Bean will be doing today.
I would love to do that. It was a busy weekend. Today on the show, we have deadlines are for losers. We didn't have people waiting around this year for the trade deadline. A lot of trades this weekend. We'll get into that. RL in studio. You see him. He's right there. There he is. And Phoebe Boufast. Phoebe Boufast. That's a pretty good one.
Mhm.
It's like Phoebe Buffet. Our friends' heads out there know that one. But a dog named Phoebe became a star this weekend. We're going to get into that. You probably have an idea of what it is. And finally, for college face. Nice. Why not face off?
Bit of a typo.
Okay.
Not going to say who made the typo, but off was left off.
Mhm.
So if you are to leave off any word, I guess that's the appropriate one.
It's
It would
Implied.
become a way
Oh.
more confusing headline bit if there was any of those other words left off instead of off.
The for college face-off, the Beanpot begins tonight.
Yes.
And I think I was telling you folks off air, I was listening to Felger and Maz, our dear friends and our partners, quite frankly, discussing Four Nation face-off. And Tony Maz was like, I got to say, I just can't really get into it. What good tournament only has 4 teams? And everybody was like, Beanpot. And he was like, yeah.
Well, he also said good, so that, you know.
You don't like the Beanpot?
I think the Beanpot is Up until I would say the last 6 or 7 years when Northeastern started winning it all the time.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, we're doing like BCBU next Monday in the championship.
But-
all right, I'll see you then. You know what I mean? Like, it just, for so long, it felt like why are we even holding the other 3 games?
I used to go as a kid, and every now and then you'd get a year where you show up to the first round of it, which is this evening, and 2 teams play each other, and then the winners of that meet in the final, and you'd go to the first game and you'd be like, Northeastern and Harvard's playing. That's cool. That should be competitive. And because I'm dumb, I wouldn't consider, holy smokes, this means that we get a BCBU first round.
Yep.
Anybody could win in the final, and it just ended up being the winner of the BCBU game.
Yeah,
but
it's
wide open now.
It's
Northeastern
crazy,
is just a powerhouse.
Well,
It's
not for real.
This,
not for the earth this season. There is one team that should probably win this tournament.
Yep.
They've won most other things of late, but the answer may surprise you. We'll discuss it. But first, I just wanted to pick your brain about these trades, because that's going to be the meat of this show, obviously. You had all the stuff going down on Thursday between the Flames and the Flyers, and then you had on Friday, for the second consecutive Friday, it's trade night in the NHL. The Canucks and the Rangers do their thing. Canucks not done. They flip some of the pieces they get in the JT Miller deal to get Marcus Pettersson and Drew O'Connor. That's all fun. And then Saturday, the humdinger, where the Stars are like, oh, you know what? Let's say a real contender get in on this, and they made their big move. We'll go through these trades blow by blow, but just in general, your reaction to all the movement so far.
This is 2 Fridays in a row where I was at a Boston College game and a trade happened in like the first intermission, and I was like, I guess I'm not watching the second period of this game. I gotta like write about this. And so, I guess my reaction is on the JT Miller trade, about time. Like, finally, we don't have to hear about this shit anymore, And then, the Ceci trade is just like, okay, yeah, I guess they, not what I would have used my Tyler Seguin cap space on, but okay, sure. But
What's the difference between you and me, brother? You watch your fucking mouth when you're talking about that guy. But
I disagree with the classification that was the real humdinger. Like, I think that the 2 Canucks trades were really like the big booms. Like, if we're doing Costco guys references,
yes,
like the Stars one was a nice little like, ooh, didn't see this coming really
that's
this
the
weekend.
Chicken bake, if you will.
I mean humdinger in the sense that a lot of teams are getting out ahead of this trade deadline, and they're using the 4 Nations face-off as an early deadline. The real contenders, the real big dogs of the world, would accrue space until they get to the deadline, because usually they don't have so much of it.
Right.
And then they make their move. And the Dallas Stars jumped in and said, you know what?
It's like, because they're in LTIR. They're not accruing space.
We can kind of fudge the numbers a little bit with Seguin out for the rest of the season and make our move here. The move they chose to make is confusing to me, because you called it the Cody Ceci trade. I don't think it's necessarily. I think it's the Mikael Granlund trade.
Well, I'm just I'm tailoring it to the environment.
That's as a show called What Chaos, we have to call it the Cody Ceci trade.
Right.
Like, the entertainment value of that right side on their blue line now is incredible with Dumba, Lyubushkin, and Cody Ceci, like all chaos right side.
Okay, before we get to, we'll do Rangers, Canucks, everything, and then we'll do Stars if that's cool.
Chronological order.
We'll, as like an appetizer / shot of water, we can do Flames and Flyers.
Oh yeah, God, I forgot about that.
Farabee and Morgan Frost go to the Flames. Kuzmenko, Jacob Pelletier, 2025 second round pick, and a 2028 7th round pick go to the Flyers. Thoughts, questions, concerned? I like the Flames kind of getting in on it while they are, no pun intended, hot, heating up. Mm-hmm. If they're at a point in they're the team that I would think should make a deal early on, because they don't know where they're going to be 2-3 weeks from now. So you might as well see if you could throw a little gas on the fire. I'm sorry I keep using Heat references, but like throw a little gas on the fire, see if you can ascend a little more, and then who knows? I don't think they're going to end up being in like a top 3 spot or anything, but solidify yourself as a real wild card team.
Yeah, I think that's right. They were in a position where a lot of their results were like, well, Dustin Wolf's going ape shit this year, right? Like that. What percentage of their being in a playoff spot do you want to attribute that to Dustin Wolf alone? Like 60%?
I was going to say 55%. Yeah.
And so they needed to make it so that the other 45% or 40% or whatever you want to say is like more reliable. And so you get Farabee, you get Frost. These are guys that like kind of fell out of favor in Philadelphia, it seems like, and just weren't going to get the kind of like a chance to be as valuable as they could be. Like they're not going to get power play time, that kind of thing. And so the Flames, they're like, oh, we could put you on the power play. That's fine with us. That our power play, our power play is not that good. And so like, and they didn't give up much. Like I don't think they were keeping. Well, obviously they weren't keeping Kuzmenko beyond this season. Like he just didn't seem like he was in their long term plans. And Pelletier's like fine. Yeah, as a
second round pick,
another guy, another one of those guys like from the Calgary side or the Philadelphia side that could use a fresh start. Like this was a fresh start trade. I think
100%
in a lot of areas. I love it for the Flames. They get like two young-ish. Like they're not young, but they're proven players that I think can thrive with a better situation. And like more importantly for the Flames, they make them better now, but also like give them sort of a more of a blueprint for the future, which like, I feel like that the Flames you look at the future of the Flames and you're like, what is this? And so this becomes a little bit more clear. And I like it for the price. Like, and from the Flyers angle, like you get rid of two guys. I don't love the value that you got in return, but like get rid of two guys that you had mentioned, like falling out of favor. Torts didn't really love. I don't think he's going to love Kuzmenko.
I know he's not.
He's not going to love Kuzmenko. He will. I think he will like Peltier. But like Kuzmenko could literally just be them freeing up money for the summer too.
That's exactly what that was for them.
But like, what if like Michkov? Like he likes Michkov. Those two play together in the KHL.
You know, maybe you say, okay, well, you were making 5 or whatever it is. How's 4 sound? Yeah. You know, like just figure out something with that. But
even if he's making 4, I don't know if you want to pay $4 million to that guy who's playing under Torts. Torts is going to kill him.
I don't know if you heard the cap's going up.
That is true. I did hear that.
I have a quick aside before we move on to all of the Canucks madness. Sean, could you please tell us why the chat is not paying attention to our discussion?
They're really blowing up my spot
talking
here.
About feet?
They're blowing up my spot. So behind the scenes, we have these tripods. I adjusted one of the cameras and it fell down. So when I went to go to the shot, it was just showing the floor. Very briefly.
How long is that happening?
How long? It happened for like half a second that they saw the shot, but they did see the shot. And so now they've been talking about
Chad is very attentive when it comes to anything except what is the biggest stuff on their screen, which is people talking about hockey.
Yeah, they're blowing up my spot here. It was a brief foot shot, but
and I'll say, like when we started, like our bios and everything on a lot of our socials is like mostly hockey, ... Because when we started this, we were like, we know we'll end up talking about movies because you can't talk about hockey all the time. We only talk about hockey, and it's our audience that does not care about hockey. Right. And is like, they talk about movies and they talk about our feed or whatever, and we love it. And if anybody is new, make sure you hit subscribe. I know we do have some super chats. Yes,
we do have a couple of super chats. I was going to point out we were almost a year, like a year anniversary from the origin of the name puns. That started.
That's right. That's right. That's right. John Evans says, "Love you, fellas. Have a great week."
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Have a great month.
Stacy Faye, who is always so nice to us, says, "What is it? Dress like an idiot day?
Wait a second.
Burn." We had.
Wait a second.
Do you know what that is?
No,
it's not directed at you. We had Jacob Fowler on last week, and we were discussing fashion, and it came up that one of his teammates is often the target of the question, oh, what is it? Dress like an idiot day? And that was like the next 10 minutes of the conversation because I was confused by, is that like standard college parlance these days? I understand like razzing the fellas as long as you're not really hurting feelings, but dress like an idiot day, if that happened when I was in college, it would have been water off a duck's back.
Yeah.
But now, who knows? Maybe that's how they do it. Luke McGrath says, today's show should be called Stick to Brunch chaos. Very good, because RL is known for sticking to soup, as they say.
And sports. Yeah.
And sports. Stick to sports was the OG.
That's right.
And now it's... But you do stick to soup as part of the Puck Soup universe.
Right. Yeah.
The Puck Soup universe, folks.
There's a lot going on over there.
It's a sincere version of On Cinema at the Cinema, where there's a bunch of little like
side projects,
and it all falls under the same umbrella, but none of it is really taking too much of the piss.
I wouldn't think so, I guess.
I love it. Okay, let's get to all the stuff that went down with the Canucks. I said before this show started, I was like, does our Canucks stuff perform well? Because we talk about the Canucks definitely not more than any other show. Canucks have for sure been our number one discussed team this year.
How could they not be?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's every hockey show is like, damn, I feel like I'm talking about the fucking Canucks a lot. It's like, yeah, no shit, man. All they've done since like November 1st is like be in arguments, like publicly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then
like deny it.
It's actually not a problem at all. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
And then the president comes out and is like, "Oh yeah, this is definitely a problem."
Yeah, I gotta
incredible.
I gotta get these fucking guys off my team.
And number two, other than, we've spent a lot of time on the Sabres, will they get going? And then Sean kind of put us on a Sabres moratorium. Quick question, Sean, Sabres back. Good performance last night. Nothing bad happened.
3 straight.
3 straight.
I do want to point out,
Probably the lowest vibes you could ever get after a third straight win.
I mean, I had to go full spin zone afterwards because like a month ago, 110% chance that they lose that game. They still managed to win. I did say at the beginning of this month to the both of you, you look at their schedule over January and February, there is a chance that we get to the end of February and we were talking about the Sabres
being 7 points out of the playoffs.
On the hunt watch. We like putting teams in the hunt watch. They're not in the hunt, but they're on watch to potentially at some point be in the hunt.
I gotta tell you, no, they're not.
Week,
they're the Buffalo Sabres.
Like,
what are we fucking talking? We don't have, this is the thing. Oh, they won 3 games in a row. Yeah, it's so easy to win 3 games in a row in the NHL. Everybody does it.
Sean, you know where they are now, though? You know where they are now, standings-wise?
4th from the bottom?
No, they are now...
How many points out of 8th in the wild card?
Out of 9th in the wild card.
So
they are now 5 points out of 9th in the wild card, which is no change from when we first uncovered they were only 5 points out of 9th in the wild card.
This is what I'm saying. Like all this, like I saw somebody posted last night, like after the Sabres won, like the Sabres as soon as they get 47 points out of the playoffs, and it's like
the Sidney Crosby's on the ice.
Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, look, I understand the East wild card picture. Like every one of those teams, you're like, is anybody any good? Like, the Bruins, they win 3 in a row. You're like, Bruins are back. The Bruins are like, no, we're not. We're going to give up 14 goals to the Buffalo Sabres. How's that sound? Oh, okay. Well,
the Bruins, I don't know if at any point I'm officially calling them back. Although, apologies to anybody who, and our friends Netters tweeted this even, they said, hammer Rangers money line on Saturday, and I was like, oh yeah. And I was in Florida, and you can't BET there. That sounds like a terrible thing to say
in Black History Month.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, in Black History Month.
Also, I don't think our sponsors are dogs. They can spell.
We can't talk about dogs can't spell.
I don't think so.
I don't think they can.
We're not really
Phoebe
supposed to talk about betting on we're more of a DFS show, but I did not intend to do that. Anyway, I couldn't bet on it, so I was like, damn. Oh well. And Bruins
saved you a lot of money.
Saved me a lot of money.
The Rangers certainly they made that game more interesting than the Bruins would have wanted, though.
That's what the Bruins do.
It certainly is.
Well, the TLDR of what the Canucks did over the weekend is they traded JT Miller for Filipino and stuff, and used the pick they got in the deal to get Marcus Pettersson and Drew O'Connor from the Penguins. It was a big, big, big night for misused apostrophes because people kept saying they're collecting Petterssons, and they were putting an apostrophe in there because people are idiots. My question to you, Ryan Lambert, is with all these moves, are the Vancouver Canucks idiots?
No, I think they did about as well as they reasonably could.
Totally agree.
I agree with that.
Totally agree.
Like, everybody's like, oh, they should have gotten more from Miller. Oh, the guy everybody hates.
the guy
everybody
sent
hates and
home
has
for
been
bullying a teammate,
and has been like publicly talked about as the guy everybody hates for 2 fucking months.
the guy who's
Yeah, I
making
guess they
$8
should have
million
got-
a year
yeah.
for 3 more
You
years.
know who's got a great like cap hit is Tony D'Angelo. How is he so cheap?
That's right.
Like,
Yeah.
same sort of deal.
Yeah, and so like, you know, I think if like they weren't going to be in a position unless they were trading both him and the good Elias Pettersson
Together?
No,
That would rock.
it would rock. No, but like because there was talk like, oh, they're going to trade. They might trade both of them. They might just have to do it. And
They
it's
still
like,
might.
No, apparently that's not going to.
Dude, no, yes, that was my.
I
When we
don't
did
think
a,
they should, but they might.
we did a quick little reaction video right after, and I was like, this deal, and they had yet to do the Marcus Pettersson deal,
Right.
but I was like, this deal is obviously on paper a loss, but it's a win if you now keep Pettersson. You'll make it worse by trading Pettersson. Just keep Pettersson and hope he becomes what he's continuing to become, and you're good. You can lose one deal if it's going to fix the room and everything and culture, and you can put all this shit behind you. If you now trade Pettersson and you're getting us tracking people's Instagram posts to see which deal made them angrier, because you were getting stuff like that after they traded Miller. The Miller people were posting like, damn, it shouldn't have gone down this way. Keep Pettersson and you can survive this. This too shall pass.
It becomes a thing of like, who would you rather have? The guy who's like 26 and makes probably $3 million too much based on how things have gone so far, or the guy who's 31 and makes probably $2 million too much for like whatever 5 more years or whatever it is. And again, everybody hates.
Not everybody.
That's the thing. I don't think
Not
everyone is
everybody.
true.
That's
I think
true.
there were sides there.
There,
Yeah,
there
definitely.
definitely were. But I think that
And like, and JT Miller is a good and important player.
yes, of course he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the Canucks made the right move in trading him and not Pettersson.
I would agree with that,
Yeah.
especially given the contract situation. I think wear and tear, and I said this on the reaction that we had on our YouTube video right after the trade went down. Like getting out from underneath that JT Miller contract could look very good in a few years based off of like wear and tear and the type of player
Yeah,
that
he's
he is.
31 years old.
I find like this collection of moves very, very interesting for the Canucks, because I think you can view it in whatever way you want to, because at the end of the day, they're not much better of a team. But like you said, I think they did reasonably well given the circumstances. They addressed an actual need. Like Marcus Pettersson on that team is going to be a really good fit given what they needed. Drew O'Connor, I really like as a player, and like him on Kiefer Sherwood's line. Fuck yeah, baby. Sign me up. That is a really tough line to play against. But you also have to consider both of those guys, rentals, even though they want to keep them. So you're undertaking some cost uncertainty, and that would be scary, especially given that they flipped the first round pick that they got for Miller. Like you could make the argument that you would rather have that pick based off of where the Canucks are.
I don't think they would, though. Like, because Quinn Hughes is older than you think he is. You know what I mean? He's like 20,
26, 25, 26.
I would say 24, 25. Yeah. But like, how many more years is Quinn Hughes, capital Q, capital H, Quinn Hughes? You know what I mean? Like,
Turned 25 this year, by the way.
yeah.
Okay.
So like he's so sick. He's like, everybody's saying Werenski for Norris. Like,
It's Quinn
watch a Canucks game, and again when he's off the ice, watch a Canucks game, and then get back to me.
This was a and we haven't talked about the Marcus Pettersson of it all, which I do support the trading the first round pick.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yes.
getting Marcus Pettersson because different players, but the Vinny Desharnais experiment has obviously
A disaster.
been the most predictable catastrophe in the world.
Yes.
And I obviously have so much love in my heart for Vinny Desharnais, a bad hockey player. And like, how could they have thought that was going to work out? The Dan Heinen stuff, I saw a lot of Canucks fans being like, they got rid of one of the worst contracts in hockey. Oh, the horror of a bottom six winger making like $2.25 million. Shut up. It's fine.
For next year only, not even like you signed for 3
Darnay
more
too,
years.
right?
For-
But I mean,
yeah.
like that bad player.
For
Yes.
me, it's about getting Marcus Pettersson. And again, as I said, different player, but that is your impact-wise, that's your Zadorov replacement that you've needed very
Yes.
badly. You just needed another adultish defenseman. So in a weekend that was very big on tell me this trade in terms of other stuff, The NBA stuff was, what's the version of this in soccer? What's the version of this in baseball or whatever? The moving and shaking that the Canucks did over the weekend reminds me of the Boston Red Sox trading Nomar Garciaparra, a team that had designs on doing stuff this year, and shit was just weird. There was some division in the among the players. Can you really trade a star player when you're trying to contend? And they said, hold on, let me see if I can do a couple of things, see what ends up shaking out here. I look at their roster before and I look at their roster after. And the fact that I don't hate their roster after tells me you did the right thing.
Yeah. And like Hedl, what would you say? Like,
There's risk.
It's certainly a risk, but like another guy, like in New York, they weren't putting him on the power play. And he's putting up like 20 goals, getting nothing but 5-on-5 minutes or whatever. And I don't know if that's like a reasonable, 20 goals forever. But like if they put him on the power play, all of a sudden, maybe. And, you know, I think that like if he's 75% of JT Miller at 60% of the cost, you're feeling great about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In addition
Younger,
to Pettersson being a huge upgrade over Desharnais, and Drew O'Connor being maybe like a slight downgrade from Danton Heinen, who's a player I like. Like, I don't know how you can say the Canucks didn't come out roughly where they were before, but much better vibes.
And the other side of that is like, what are the Rangers doing? I think that's a big question to
They
ask.
keep
like,
moving their young guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and-
finally the Rangers get older. We've been saying for months that.
But like JT Miller, I think absolutely makes them a better team and probably gives them a little bit of the edge and the kick in the pants that they need. But like, how much better are they of a team with JT Miller than they were before? Like, are they now like in a class above what they were in the Eastern Conference?
Let me ask you this. Are you putting him on that top power play unit? Because if you're not, then how much, like instantly he's less valuable to you.
Yeah.
Than he was
He's
to
3
Vancouver.
points over the weekend, first two games.
For sure. But I'm just saying, like, if we're expecting him to be like an 80, 90 point player, there's nobody that puts up 80 to 90 points without being on the top power play unit. And the Rangers' top power play unit is fucking sick. So what, like, are they going to break that up just to get as much value as like production as possible out of JT Miller?
They shouldn't. Like,
well, that's what I'm
matter
saying.
for like, you already have him for the next however number of years.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is like, if he's only on your second power play unit, and those guys probably play like 25 seconds per 2-minute penalty, right?
Maybe that takes an uptick.
Pardon my
but-
pardon my ignorance. Was Trocheck on their first power play unit?
I don't think so.
Because since getting JT Miller, they have been going Kreider net front, and then JT Miller, Panarin, Zibanejad,
okay, so they did
and
put
Adam
him on their
Fox.
top power. I didn't watch any Rangers
So
games
they've
over the
put him
weekend.
there. I just don't know who he is necessarily replacing.
Did you say Lafreniere?
So that would be it. Alexei is on their second power play unit.
Well, then that extension maybe not looking so smart earlier this year.
We'll have to tap into Johnny Laz and see how he feels about that. But I mean, I look at that top power play unit, and that is
Pretty good.
Oh yeah, no,
that's a mix
like,
of everything.
Yeah.
yeah, no, they're again, like if they're gonna break up that top power play unit, maybe Lafreniere's the guy you take off, and then it's probably still fine. But it was running at like 30% over the last like 2 weeks or something. Like I looked on Friday night,
Yeah.
and it was running at like 30%. I'm like, you're gonna fuck with that? Okay.
Well, the one that injured my jaw and chin because it fell to the ground and just smashed clean through, and everyone said, DJ, you gross bitch, was the Stars Sharks trade on Saturday, mainly because this was the one that I least, since Rantanen, this is the one that I've least seen coming.
Sure.
So I guess when we were trying to quantify, like, why do I see this one, is the humdinger. Maybe it's that. Pete and I had days before done a dream trades thing where we were just taking anybody who could maybe get traded, throw them around. And we'd been talking about Mikael Granlund. Dallas gets Granlund and Cody Ceci for a 2025 first round pick, and then a 2024 fourth round pick from the Jets that, should Dallas reach the Cup final, will become Dallas's third round pick. And I'm sure that they will take that deal 10 times out of 10. I'll give a little quick reaction first. I did not think that center would be the prioritized position money-wise as they figure out what to do with that LTIR money. Beginning of the season, part of our season preview, I feel as much as we talked about any individual team and their cup chances, we discussed the arms race that was going to exist in the Western Conference for right shot D, for good right shot D. And Dallas here does something really interesting to me where they're like, you know what? We don't want to potentially spend too much on a right shot D, lose out on a deal. If we're moving a first round pick, let's get a 25 goal scorer that we could play at center, and he could be, whether it's Duchesne or Granlund in the second or third center spot. And then, yeah, we'll just get another usage dependent, fine right shot D and hope for the best. I'll continue this long thought by saying, I don't know how I feel about doing that when you don't have any right shot D who are not usage dependent, fine defensemen.
Outside of Heiskanen.
Well, yeah, right.
Yeah,
but right now, Heiskanen, you're without for weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean the obvious glaring need for Dallas is a right shot D, and given what they have right now, like if Ceci, I did hear Elliott say this morning that like he believes that they are not done, which like if they go out and get a middle pairing right shot D that helps bump down Cody Ceci when everybody's healthy, and you've got Cody Ceci like third pairing on the right side.
Quickly interrupt. Who do you like better, Lyubushkin or Ceci?
Ceci.
I like Ceci better as well. Yes, go ahead.
100%. And like if that's your situation heading into the playoffs, you get Heiskanen, you have mystery second pairing right D, and then you have Cody Ceci with like maybe an insurance body. Don't hate it. Like don't hate it. It worked well enough for the Oilers last year where you got to the game 7 of the Stanley Cup final. Not bad. It's an unexpected move. And for right now, you're looking at that right side and you're saying, still got to fix that.
Yeah, I think that's all correct. Again, like when Heiskanen is healthy, like that's a different discussion entirely. Obviously, he's one, I don't know, what are the 10 best defensemen in the league, probably.
Yeah.
And yeah, to me, it's just like right now they have like 2 good defensemen and then like 5 not so good defensemen, and all those guys. Somebody has to play higher up in the lineup. You can't play your
Cody Ceci played 22 minutes in his debut. Wow!
But Cody Ceci is used to playing a ton of minutes this season.
Yes,
when maybe for the Earth he shouldn't be.
But if you had told me that Cody Ceci was going to play 22 minutes for the Dallas Stars at any point this season,
yeah, that's what I get. 1,000,000%. It's funny because like I saw people reacting to it from the Sharks' point of view of like, it was a Buffalo writer was like, oh, he's doing the Tim Murray teardown. He's trading his leading scorer and sending his number 1 goalie to the AHL or whatever. And it's like, yeah, man, if you like, the problem is that Mikael Granlund was their leading scorer.
Right.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
like what does he have? Like 40 points or 45 or something like that. Like he's up there way more than you would have expected. And again, it's like, he's not going to get those opportunities.
But I think he's a really good player. Like,
here's the thing. He was a cap dump for the Penguins. Remember that?
Yeah.
The Sharks were just like, yeah, we'll take your shitty deal. That's fine. Yeah. And then the Sharks turned that into a first round pick, and Cody Ceci they got for like nothing.
Yeah. Cody Ceci, they were, I don't know, it all depends on what Ty Emberson ends up becoming. If Ty Emberson ends up becoming like an okay 4th or 5th defenseman, then I think all's well that ends well for the Sharks. But they took Cody Ceci and a 3rd round pick and gave up Ty Emberson. If Emberson ends up being something really good, then that's horrible. But as long as he maxes out being like fine, that's good asset management.
That's
for
what
the
I mean.
Sharks,
Yeah.
I think.
No, they turned 2 like cap dumps into a 1st round pick and maybe a 3rd round pick.
The Stars, by the way, are projected to have $4.598 million at in cap space at the trade deadline. They do not have a 1st and 2nd round pick this year, but they do have their 1st round pick next year, and they do have their 1st round pick the year after that. So any talk of them not being done, they can fit stuff.
Yeah.
And if they do, then from here add a solid second pairing right D, then I love that roster. I love this trade for the Stars anyway. Again, like I probably would have prioritized for now a right D, but
I mean,
getting
they
an
did.
okay one and then also up, like when everybody's healthy, if that happens for the Stars, they are 3 deep at center,
Yes.
3 good deep at center, and then just resplendent with really good wings.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think
And they have a great goal.
And they have a good goalie. Yeah.
there's an easy reaction to have to make fun of the Stars for this move based off of what they look like today. But I think that given the position that they're in, which is like the luxury that they've given themselves, is that they don't have to make moves for today. They have to make moves that when you look at the end of the season, are you in a better position? And I think that that's what this move did for them. So like, I'm not laughing at the right side of the defense yet. If they don't make an additional move, then you can say, eh.
You talked a little, RL, about the deal from the Sharks' perspective. One refrain that I saw time and again in the minutes following this move was, wow, clearly a seller's market. And I kind of wrinkled my nose at that. Do you think that it's a seller's market right now?
It definitely is. There's like 4 teams that are like, yeah, we'll sell you a guy. You know what I mean? Like that. So,
But I guess I'm asking, was that such a steep price to pay? A first round pick, essentially?
yeah, I think the fact that it's a first, like, just makes people go, wow, they got a first for 2 guys that the Sharks got for basically nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's what it boils down to. And like, those are 2 NHL players. And it used to be like, you know, if you waited a month, maybe Mikael Granlund alone gets you a first round pick. But I think that the market in the last few years, when there were so many sellers, kind of shifted away from that, where like guys would get traded for like a second round pick if you retained salary and that kind of thing. And that's the other thing. The Sharks couldn't and therefore didn't retain any salary on these deals. And so like for them to get a first round pick without retaining salary is kind of like still very sellers.
Yeah, I
favorable
guess I
to me.
can't remember how much was retained here, but Pete, did the Ducks retain on Adam Henrique? Because they got a first round pick and none of us were like, wow, first round pick for Adam Henrique. That's kind of steep.
I was.
I'm sure you were, but
I don't know. I don't remember if they
I don't remember
retained.
either.
But I guess this didn't strike me as a particularly lopsided deal in either direction. What really just struck me was what the Stars were prioritizing. And if they don't do anything else,
Yeah,
then,
Ducks retain 50%.
okay.
Well, there you go.
Well, if they don't do anything else, I think the Stars' identity is a little different than what I would have expected. But if they do add a right shot D, then their identity will be what I always expected to be by the end of the season, which is just loaded and really scary, and ultimately the team in the Western Conference that you look at with the fewest holes.
Yeah, and as Chad points out, the first round for Dallas this year is probably going to be a very
27th,
late
yeah,
first,
that's right.
and it's considered a pretty weak draft.
Yeah, but that's what happened when Henrique was moved. Like, if you're getting a first round pick if you're getting the team's first round pick when you're selling, you're assuming it's going to be a late first round pick anyway.
No, it's funny because like first round pick has such a connotation, and now like, you know, even 6-7 years ago, there are first round picks that wouldn't have even been in the first round.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know,
I forget what year it was, but it was a million years ago when I was covering the Bruins, and Pete's probably heard me tell this story a million times, but I did like a really long ass study on the value of first round picks, and at first blush, it's not the NFL where first round pick, at the very least, you are getting a starter,
Right.
and probably a Pro Bowler, hopefully a Pro Bowler, maybe not an All Pro, but you're going to get a starter and one of your team's better players. Second round pick, you better be getting a starter. Third, it said, and then you get into the project stuff. And I did it by how many games, like whether it was picks at each position, did they get to 200 games in their career? How fast did they do it? What kind of impact did they had and everything? And the very short version and kind of bastardized answer I got was, in the top 10, you should be getting a good to very good player with a top 10 pick in the NHL. And outside of the top 10, your chances are basically the same as they are between 11 in the middle of the second round. And so many draft people got really mad at me because they were like, you're insulting the work that scouts do and everything. And I'm like, no. They're doing the right work, but there's so much projection involved in all this. Clearly that, I don't know, like Patrice Bergeron, how does that guy make it to 45 or whatever? And they drafted Mark Stewart instead of Patrice Bergeron. Like, yes. You don't know.
There are some analytics sites that like rate the value of draft picks that say like second rounders are probably in a lot of cases more valuable than a late first rounder.
I would take 2 second round picks over a first round pick.
Late first rounder.
Oh my God.
Or no, I would take, if somebody said, hey,
even mid,
if somebody said, hey, I'm giving you the 14th overall pick, or I'm giving you the 40th and 50th overall pick, I'd be like, oh.
No, you're absolutely, like, I say this all the time. All these teams that are like, well, we're going to try to be in like the hunt for a playoff spot. We might not get there, but we might finish 9th or 10th in the conference. And it's like, okay, so you just want to pick like 14th. That sounds horrible. That sounds like the worst place you could end up being.
Well, it is funny that you mentioned 14 because the Rangers pick that was sent around this weekend is top 13 protected.
Yes.
And like looking at the Rangers, there's a chance that they could finish top
100%.
13, in which case that draft pick becomes unprotected next year.
Yeah.
And you're looking at the possibility of that draft pick having real fucking value.
One last thing on the example of a mid-first round pick versus, say, a second round pick. Famously, 2015, the Bruins had picks 13, 14, and 15, made 3 selections in a row: Jakob Zaboral, Jake DeBrusk, and Zach Senyshyn. And overall, it wasn't amazing.
You don't say.
They had a lot of picks in that draft, though, because they also had second round picks. And I think they had 3 second round picks as well. So 13, 14, and 15 were kind of misses, we'll say. Although Jake DeBrusk obviously was a very good hit. 37th overall, they picked Brandon Carlo.
Right.
52nd overall, they picked Jeremy Lauzon.
Yep.
Like those, and Lauzon isn't the best player in the NHL, but he's an NHL.
He's an NHLer.
That's
yep,
so like if that was one of their picks, then that would be a win. And it's not exactly just as easy to hit in the mid-second as it is in the mid-first, but it's not so far off. And I think first round pick, as you said, it just has a connotation and it has a sort of shine to it that, I don't know, if you're savvy, man, I'm saying let's load up on late firsts, early seconds, whatever, versus I want the 19th overall pick.
Right.
So it can go in any different direction. So that's that. We are efforting to get Cody Ceci back on the show. He is wearing number 44 with the Stars, to which I say, not horrible, but official stance. What the fuck, buddy?
97.
Wear 97. We've been trying to get
available.
Cody Ceci to wear 97 for, I don't know, like 4 months or something.
Sure.
A big part of all this is that the cap is going up. We learned that over the weekend. It goes up $7.5 million next season, $8.5 million from that for 2026-27, and then another $9.5 million for 2027-28. I'll just get out of the way. Everybody's first reaction was like, Leon Draisaitl already has a sweetheart of a deal before it begins. That's really cool. But there's so many other questions off of that.
You live in a vacuum.
That's right. Yeah.
No, that's
That's not everybody's reaction.
No, that was absolutely not my reaction.
That was a joke to say that everybody's reaction was that. But
Sounded pretty serious.
It was his reaction.
what everybody's reaction should have been, and I hope it was, should the Avalanche have just kept Mikko Rantanen? Did they not know that the cap was going up?
I feel like a lot of people's reaction like a week ago was that should the Avalanche have kept Mikko Rantanen?
That's what I'm saying. Like, this was proof, though, that, all right, you could have afforded it. Or are they doing their thing that some idiot on YouTube got mad at me for saying, the internal cap thing, which is dumb and wrong, an excuse for being cheap? You could have afforded Mikko Rantanen now.
Well, I mean, that's not necessarily true because he's still got to sign that deal, and he knows what the number is now, and so does Cale Makar.
Yeah.
So, like, you've got both of those guys who now see the inflated cap and go, money, please. So it doesn't necessarily change the way that Colorado was looking at it.
What would you have done?
I mean, I think one of the things that was under discussed with all that is everybody kind of behind the scenes or whatever, kind of internally knew that at some point before the deadline, the NHL was going to announce what the cap was, not just for next year, but probably one or two beyond that. And then that's what happened. But so I think a lot of pending free agents were just kind of like, I'm not like super interested in negotiating right now, just because like I'd love to see what that number is for 2 years from now. And then we'll go from there. And so like, I think Colorado was just in a position where they were like Pete said, like, well, Cale Makar is going to be like a $15 million player or something like that. And so how do we thread the needle of like, do we pay Rant? Like apparently the issue was because he's not a center, they didn't want to pay Ranton in the same amount or a similar amount as McKinnon. And it's like,
I usually agree with that.
Same.
well,
I mean, but Rantanen is one of the most
Brandon's
elite
on my
wingers
2
in the
exceptions list. Kucherov and Rantanen are my 2 exceptions there.
for winger, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I totally get, and like, I get it from Colorado's point of view where they're like, again, we could get like 85, 90% of what Rantanen produces with Natchez, and Natchez is going to cost less than half of what.
For how long?
Well, at least next year.
Yeah.
And then they can circle back. But again, they're not going to have he's not going to go to them and say, I should be getting Nathan McKinnon money. Because they're just like, yeah, you're Marty Natchez.
2 more questions on this, or 2 more thoughts on this, I should say. My other big reaction was Jeremy Swayman holding the line for goalies in his contract negotiation is going to pay massive dividends. Could you imagine if he did say, yeah, okay, whatever, I'll do like a 6x6 or something, and then Olmark after him had to do something similar, and then Shesterkin doesn't have these bigger numbers that have just been signed to point to, and these deals are going down, and now the cap goes up significantly, and goalies are making a minuscule part of the cap. For all the discourse about Jeremy Swayman and that negotiation, goalies should be kissing Jeremy Swayman on the mouth. Great bit of work, bud.
My reaction, you said it was Draisaitl. My reaction was, well, why did Logan Thompson sign like 2 weeks ago or whatever it was? That smallish deal that like looks extremely valuable right now. And obviously he doesn't have the
sample size,
the resume and the sample size. But like if Logan Thompson is even close to what he's been this year for the duration of that contract, it's like absolute steal, especially with the cap going up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to be even like he's like 930 this year. I don't think Logan Thompson
even close.
I mean, how close?
15
is close?
Points lower. Like if he's 915
yeah,
at
well,
that
again,
deal.
My concern is that he turns back into like a 906 goalie, right? And the problem for that deal, like the money's great, you're right, but the term is the issue on that. Like he was like, give me $25 million or 26 or whatever the number was, and it's like, right, but like I gotta pay this guy for 6 years.
Yeah.
You know,
and I like Logan Thompson, but he is when he's not on, I demand he get off my TV.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like they're really rolling the dice with the term on that more so than the AAV.
I big time agree. Let's wrap this conversation in the vacuum. What does McDavid get now?
17.
Oh, mama.
I initially thought.
Well, like think about it. What was it? 113, 115, something like that was what the 3 years from now number is. You know, this is the thing I wrote about this morning is like how many teams are going to be like, we can do 100 million on the cap, we can do 110 million on the cap. I think the number is in the single digits. Let's put it that way. I think the number of like cap ceiling teams 3 years from now will be 6 to 8.
And that is something that we've overlooked this entire conversation. There is no way that every team is
Not
going
even
to
close.
be a cap team.
The Winnipeg Jets sell like 15,000 tickets a night.
Yeah.
They have a super small market. There's just no way that they're going to be able to go to more than like 94, 95.
And one of the things that was brought up was the conversion on the currency could present a real problem for some of those Canadian teams.
It already is.
Yeah. So
and that's before we get into all the tariffs that I've been saying they should do for so long.
the anthems got booed this weekend.
Yeah.
The American U.S. anthem got booed in several Canadian games.
I looked it up and I like what was the payroll like pre-cap when there was nothing governing it.
I looked at that, yeah.
And it was like 6 teams were up north of like 40 million, and then like, or maybe even 50 million. And then like 2/3 of the league was below 40.
Yeah.
And a couple were below 30. And it's just like, we're gonna go back to that. Like, legitimately, obviously there's like a cap floor now. I think you're gonna see a lot more teams hugging the cap floor than
and
touching the cap ceiling.
It bears watching the teams that own their arenas, like Boston, or the teams that, I know these are Canadian teams, but the teams that just can print money, like Edmonton, like Toronto. Those teams, if they want, and they will, like the 3 teams I just
Toronto,
named,
Montreal,
will
New
go,
York, Philadelphia probably would.
Well, yeah, they'll just go absolutely crazy, and then we're going to talk about, I hope not, but we'll end up talking about hockey the way that we used to talk about baseball. I guess the way that people still do talk about baseball.
Well, we
don't
can
talk about baseball anymore.
We can fucking kiss any idea of the 3-2-1 point system goodbye, because it's gonna the NHL is gonna try to continue to force parity, especially if there's an imbalance with the way that teams are spending money.
Yep.
Okay,
so, fuck off. God damn it.
Folks, I took a quick little trip down to Florida this weekend, and it was because I was tired of not wearing sunglasses. It has been non-sunglass weather here, and I said, you know what? These Shady Rays are burning a hole in my beautiful Shady Rays case. So what I did was I went to Florida, I took the Shady Rays from their case, and I plopped them onto my face, and then my ears hurt because it was nothing but compliments for 2 days. Phone was ringing off the hook. Here you're wearing your Shady Rays, all these sorts of things. And I don't know what I was expecting, because I was wearing a product that's rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Yeah, of course folks were going to be excited. I'm talking about premium quality shades that are built to last. They have you covered with these polarized shades that will not break the bank. I've used up all my minutes getting all these phone calls heard about, hey, you wearing the orange ones? Because I know they got them in your team colors. I said, yeah, I'm wearing the orange ones because they got them in the team colors. And if you don't love your shades, say I didn't love these shades, I could exchange them for a new pair, or I could return them worry-free within 30 days, because there's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. You hear that? It's personal support. Okay? It's none of this AI, none of this. They're not doing any, they're not politicizing it. They're not doing any of the junk that, quite frankly, I think you know which companies I'm talking about, will want to venture into. They stay out of those waters. They make it a cash grab. They do the whole thing. They're not wholesome. They're not nice people. They're not nice people. I'll leave it at that. And you know who I'm talking about. Those people aren't nice. I wear Shady Rays while I rollerblade, while I walk, while I sleep, while I do so many things. And if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. So exclusively for our customers, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code AC35 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Bauer Hockey heard that Shady Rays was giving out the best deals of the seasons, and they said, excuse me, not so fast. Check out our sales page, because our sales page is absolutely popping with some of the best deals of the season. Go to the Bauer Hockey sale page to find a wide range of discounted products, including skates, sticks, protective gear, and apparel that caters to players of all levels. You can find significant savings on premium hockey equipment known for its quality, its durability, and its performance. You got seasonal deals, you got clearance items, and plenty of opportunity to purchase trusted gear at a reduced price, such as Nexus Sync and Easton S17 sticks. Those are up to 30% off. You got up to 40% off select skates, up to 20% off select helmets, and up to 50% off select apparel styles and collabs. That's premium quality at discounted prices, and it's while supplies last. So you want to go there now. Go to the Bauer.com page, sales tab right at the very top. And courtesy of us, you can use our free shipping code. It's free ship WC. So plenty of deal potential there. We love our friends at Bauer Hockey.
Okay, the last show that we did was Thursday, and it was very spicy. It was very heated, and we discussed the Utah team names. There were good guys, there were bad guys. We yelled at each other more than maybe we've ever yelled at each other. There is an update on that front. As we discussed on Thursday, the 3 finalists were Utah Hockey Club, Utah Mammoth, and Utah Wasatch. See, we can all say it. It's not that hard. And hours later... What's that?
Wasatch.
Don't fuck with me.
Get absolutely dunked on. It
Wasatch,
is
right?
Wasatch.
You said, you fucking piece of shit. You kept saying Wasatch when we did it, and that was how you were making your point, Mr. Tough Guy. No one's going to be able to say it.
I mean... Again, this confusion proves my point, but
that you have this apparently the first skill issue we found from Sean.
Wasatch.
We were saying Wasatch, and then you said Wasatch.
I'm pretty sure it's Wasatch.
I think it's Wasatch.
You were
because there was a big conversation about it being the emphasis on the Wa.
Yeah,
is that not what I just did?
No, you said.
I did. I guess I did.
You changed it. I thought you were doing a bit.
I thought you were too. Okay,
hand up there.
The more things change, the more they say the same.
I'm sorry.
Can I say, by the way, I went to BJ's Wholesale Club this morning. I had to pick up a big 30-pack of Spindrift.
We're Costco guys here.
There's a BJ's slightly closer to my house than a Costco. I have a membership to both.
Oh, love that.
I have a membership to both.
Love that move.
Because I got to get those hot dogs sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But anyhow. I was walking down one of the aisles going to get my big 30-pack of Spindrift for $18.
What flavor?
It's a
variety pack?
Variety pack of lemon, lime, and orange.
Oh, yeah. The blood orange?
Give me my favorite is the mojito. Mojito Spindrift, incredible.
It's really good. I agree 100%. Anyway, I walked by you know how they sell all kinds of crazy bullshit in there?
Yeah.
I walked by like a locker safe. The company name, Wasatch. I was like, whoa, it's out there now. Like damn. It's in the zeitgeist.
Shout out the chat who, as soon as I brought up this topic, did in all caps, "Let's go!" exclamation point. They're doing it again.
I don't know if you're familiar, but we did like 40 minutes on Wasatch and how to pronounce it and what it means. And
not only is he familiar,
he
picked a side in the argument.
Yeah, Wasatch is better than a hockey club. For sure.
No, that wasn't the side you picked. Why would I be excited to say you picked a side?
I don't know.
Can I read the DM you sent me in response to when I posted the clip?
I sent you a DM? Yeah, okay, sure. I don't remember this, but I believe you.
Ryan Lambert sending blackout DMs about Wasatch.
Okay, so if you did not know,
I know. Yeah,
there was an argument over should
on Instagram,
Wasatch be eliminated because people might have difficulty, as we did, pronouncing it. And I argued, it's okay if you have difficulty pronouncing something because if you read it first, chances are with this crazy language of ours.
So you're actually insulting me for reading a book? Oh, okay. That's really interesting.
So Ryan's DM was, I'm saying DJ is right to this clip. If you know a word but can't pronounce it, that actually just means you read it before you heard someone saying it. I guess reading is bad now.
Oh, it's bad to read? What world are we living in? It's bad to read. Come on.
Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
All right.
Fair. Okay.
But it doesn't matter anymore.
No, it really doesn't fucking matter. And here's why it does not matter. Because on this very same day, as we made our entire show about, and I don't mean like that day's show, the brand of our show turned into Wasatch arguments. Utah Hockey Club posted, "We listened to your feedback."
You never want to lead off with that.
And
that's
dug into all the Qualtrics data from last night.
I'm glad they looked at the data.
Survey.
The data. If they heard the feedback and they didn't look at the data, then what are we fucking doing?
Yeah.
But if they did, okay.
Best part of that is the Ryan Smith.
It. Yeah,
that's his. Qualtrics is his company, so he had to be like,
nice little plug there.
We know how to do this shit.
For the team name, it's clear that Outlaws should be in the mix instead of Wasatch, so we're swapping it out. I love the energy and the whole process of this team thing because we didn't know it was going to be a team, and then very quickly it was a team, and we were like, oh damn, so it's going to be a team in a couple of, it's going to be it's now a team. It's already a team with these guys. What's the team name going to be? Oh, there's 60 options to choose from. There's 6 options to choose from. They're going to do hockey club. There's 3 left. There's a new one.
It's
the new
definitely
one's
going to
gone.
be. It's definitely going to be Yeti. It's definitely going to be Yeti. Oh, it can't be Yeti. Legal troubles can't be Yeti. Okay, here's the final 3 teams. Ooh, wait. Oops, wait. Nobody knows what this third one is. This third one that was not on the list is now gone. Oops, whoops. Now the one of the favorites is back on there.
So now it is the Utah Hockey Club,
Yes.
Utah Mammoth,
Yes.
and Utah Outlaws. And from Cole Bagley last night, who is he's a digital insider for Utah Hockey Club. It's where we get a lot of our Utah Hockey Club information. Voting is already open at the Delta Center ahead of tonight's game. This was on Sunday. After seeing the logos again, it's Mammoth by a wide margin. The branding overall is just so much better. Cole, don't editorialize. It's just so much better and would be a seamless transition. Outlaws just doesn't fit. Damn, Cole. Cole's got takes. Hashtag Tusks up. And that when people vote, there's some branding that accompanies all the information that they could see. And that is now, Sean, if you could hit it, available to us.
Oh, really?
Take a look on the left, and we're going to zoom in on these one by one. Sean, if you could give us the Utah Hockey Club first. Utah Hockey Club has the mountains,
Which, by the way,
looks Yeti-esque.
This is
would have
such
been
a sick logo.
It
man.
is. I like
Damn.
this one the best.
That's very
That's
good.
An awesome
It's a
fucking
very
logo.
good logo.
I didn't
and
see this.
That
This
would
is-
have been Wasatch. Wasatch.
What?
Wasatch. Wasatch.
You see my guy learning?
Wasatch, yeah.
It would have been Wasatch. That also would have been the logo. That's an important thing to note here.
I
is
wonder-
now there are 3 branding options as opposed
Right.
to 2.
Yeah, so Wasatch was gonna, or Hockey Club, they were like, this is what the logo looks like. Is that what you're saying?
That is
Yeah.
the Utah Hockey Club logo. And
Right, but
I
I'm
love
saying
it.
when
It
it was still,
would've-
when the Yeti was still an
Yeah.
option, were they like, we're gonna go, this one's interchangeable.
You have to assume that this was
You would
originally
think.
the
This
Yeti
is
one,
such
and they're
a cool
just
logo.
That is
spreading it out as much
to
possible.
anybody
man.
who is listening on audio only, it is essentially a bearded mountain with some really fierce shading.
And a little
shadows.
Easter egg that was pointed out to me is they have the shape of Utah roughly
Oh,
in the, as
hell
one of the
yeah.
mountains there.
Now, this part of my life, this is cool.
It's
This
cool.
rocks
really
my
good.
socks off.
That's all right.
It's
So,
it's really too bad it's attached to the absolute dog shit worst name they've been.
oh no,
thinking
Utah
about.
Hockey Club is good.
No,
Pipe
it
down.
sucks.
Give
It
us
sucks.
next. Could you give us Mammoth, Sean?
I mean,
I'm out. I don't like
Yeah,
Mammoth.
I'm
I don't want
I like-
Mammoth.
I like it. I don't love it.
This
There are a lot of
Is
reasons.
the
like the
most
name.
create a team ass logo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's not the most because we'll get to Outlaws, and that is the most
Yes.
create a team ass
The,
logo I've
the
ever seen.
Outlaws one looked like when you name a team the Outlaws in fucking NHL 20.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
This
I
is
believe,
ChatGPT.
I believe that all of them are kind of ChatGPT, with the exception of Yeti, only because it has
Hockey
cool
Club.
intertwined details. The logo itself, without like those details, looks very ChatGPT and AI generated. I feel like they all do a little bit. This one, it's not special. Like I would rather have like a cartoon mammoth or something that's less like AI generated.
I
I think
will-
it needs a little bit more.
It
I'll
needs
say
more
this-
blue in there, honestly. Like that's what it is to me. It needs more of this. Like if the white was sky blue, I'd be way more into it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
if they swapped those two.
I had this thought on them all looking very AI and ChatGPT, and I later considered that we are only seeing it just in that sort of rendering. If we could see jerseys with these on it, I think we'd feel
They're
a
showing
little
some.
different.
I will
yeah,
say,
but that's
I think it looks way better in the context of the jersey. Like in the picture on the right, it looks way better.
if I could
to me.
see it sewn on and like
Sure.
a real thing, then I feel like I could wrap my head around it a little better. But short of that, it's hard not to see all this and think, yeah, it's a little ChatGPT. Sean, could you hit us with the Utah Outlaws? That
So lame.
Get me out of here. Get
That's
out of here.
so
that
lame.
is very EA Sports.
That's
yes, 100%.
It's
That
the
is
worst of
very
the three
low-level
names.
hockey league.
Worst of the 3 names and the worst of the 3 logos.
I don't think it. So here's my thing with the Outlaw or the Outlaws versus like the Yeti and the Mammoth and the Wasatch. Like to me, like I hate a singular team name because it's like so like when you're all together, you're the Mammoth. Like if you're not all like
Yeah, I mean there's the Kraken. Like the Kraken has been a seamless transition.
Kraken
Has tentacles, right?
Kraken the plural of it is Kraken.
Yeah.
It's not Krakens. So that's why I
mean,
don't
so
like
is
that.
Mammoth.
What? No.
Isn't like woolly mammoth? That's
Mammoths.
It's
I thought it was just mammoth.
No.
Okay.
Everyone leave Pete alone.
All right.
You
Okay,
both jumped
sorry.
on. No.
But
All
same
right.
thing with Yetis. Yeti, it sounds like that should be the plural, but it's not.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
So
I like Outlaws mainly because the branding potential of Outlaws could be really cool.
Yeah.
I agree that it doesn't fit with Utah, but when you look at the proposed branding for Outlaws and it's this,
So uninspired.
and I have to add, like, this isn't necessarily the final. It's an idea of what it
this needs more time in the oven for sure.
I don't. They made
This
it
is what
sound
they're
like
seeing, I
these
think.
were. Yeah, this is what the voters are seeing. They
For
made
sure.
it sound like that. This is what the branding is going to be.
Sean, could you give us all three again? I am going Utah Hockey Club 10 times out of 2. I'm just smashing. I am getting
The
in
logo's
line.
so good.
I am
Oh my
living in
God.
line for the name that I like. It's not the best name in the world, but I like the name, and I love that logo.
My personal opinion on these is that regardless of which one they go to, none of them should be a crest. They need to keep the Utah.
Those are all shoulder patches.
shoulder patches.
A
And
million%.
on the current Utah jerseys. Granted, they'd be better with a little purple, as we all know, but with those as shoulder patches are flawless. And I believe that's kind of the plan, right? Is that they planned on keeping at least one of the Utah word marks as one of the jerseys.
That's cool. I
So-
like that.
I
see.
mean, I just need, no matter what it is, the team name, I need that Yeti-ish looking logo that is currently attached
That logo
to
is so good, man.
to Hockey Club. I need that. Why are they out of order?
I don't know.
Sean?
That's how the picture came.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
Can
yes, the one under Utah Hockey Club, which is the mountain with the beard, is so nice.
So good. But again, it's kind of the problem is you're kind of not only in the cooler companies lane, but like the Avalanche, like their old logo had the Bigfoot thing in there, and it's just like, how many fucking Bigfoots do we need in this league? You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
I hope they go with Mammoth, and I hope the logo and the branding changes.
Well, here's why I like Outlaws. A, the
Plural of it all.
the plural of it all. B, the idea of breaking the law. That's cool. Like there's
In
a whole
Utah?
there's a whole Judas Priest song about that. And then
I forget what it's called.
yeah, me too. That's why I didn't get
It's one of those things where something's in parentheses.
I didn't get
or
specific for that
Yeah.
reason. And then also, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid were operating out of Utah for quite a
Oh,
while.
Yeah,
They made, you want to talk about? They made a whole movie about that.
yeah.
Don't remember the name of it.
Oh, okay.
But-
There was something in parentheses.
Mm-hmm.
Boys, all right, that was a heated debate. I understand. So when people are like, hey, Jerry, it's okay. We're all still friends here. I know that we were just...
Was it heated? I feel like
It
we
was,
all
it
agreed.
was the
kidding.
second most heated
Oh.
debate that we've had on this topic in the week.
yeah. That's a very heated debate. Let's have some fun now because 1 year ago, we, as devoted viewers of Sportsnet's Oilers coverage, came across, hey, they did a thing last night where they got the team together and they didn't play anybody and they all wore their uniforms and they were just like, hey, who wants to see Evan Bouchard rip a slap shot? And he did. Stupidest thing in the world. Why'd they do that? And then we were watching more and more of it. And then we found, oh, but the players bring their dogs and there's like babies and there's all sorts of crazy competitions. And Gene is there and Tony Brar is there and Hand Up are bad. That's the coolest event in the world. And why doesn't every team do it?
So this was like when I first started watching on Center Ice, like in 2004 or whatever. I guess it would have been 05, huh? But like when I first started watching on Center Ice, I found out that like all those teams have like like a lot of Canadian teams used to have skills competitions for and it's like I've been saying for now 20 years, I guess, like, oh, they should use that to determine who goes to the skills competition in the NHL All-Star game. Like the guy for like clock every slap shot in the league. Who has the hard? Take the 5 guys who have the hardest one. Who's the 5 fastest skater? Like from every team, and like then you do it that way. It works out great. But
I respect your plan there, but I'm afraid that you're making it too productive. And we want this to more be
a fuck around night.
Nothing but a fuck around night.
But I mean, look, I've watched
fuck around.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. You would get like 3 guys on every team trying per event, and then everybody else would still be fucking around. Like, so Connor McDavid would maybe skate as hard as he wanted to, and Evan Bouchard would really fucking lay into one. But then, like, Leon
McDavid,
maybe you're right about
he'd
Connor.
Be like, they're gonna pick me.
Well,
do you
remember,
remember
like if he dogs it, he's like, oh, my knee is it's crazy.
Do you remember Matthews and Pasternak in the hardest shot competition last year at the All-Star game? They would go up to do it, and they were like, still?
Yeah, they just kind of shoved it with their stick, and they were like, "How's that? We're good here."
Yeah, I think like Matthews got like 82, and it was like, I don't know what they were expecting from me. But the highlight of it, of course, is the rough relay, and it is there where we first found out about Hugo Ceci, the wonderful French bulldog of, look at this. This is his championship run last year, just flying.
Absolute professional.
Sean, hit me with the alternate angle of that, because that's my favorite. Look at him.
He's motoring.
Cook King.
You see Cody's looking over his shoulder like, you guys seeing this? Amazing.
By the way, Hugo Ceci, best of luck in the Texas heat. I'm worried about you, pal.
I know.
Yeah, that's not a dog that feels like it's bred to be in 100-degree weather.
Now, when Hugo won, that made a lot of DFSers a lot of money because the reigning champion was Lenny McDavid. And this was Lenny McDavid's run last year.
All right, it looks like Lenny
McDavid, the most famous dog in the NHL, allegedly.
Do we have the audio on it, Sean?
Yeah,
cool. Great call from Brar.
Good start. Oh, fuck this shit. I am out of there.
He just doesn't want it, you know?
Tough scene.
Wait, best call.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lenny has left the building.
No, he hasn't. He's right there. He's in the building. Don't lie to people.
And
so
Hugo Ceci is the champion.
As a result,
and Cody.
Look at them. As a result, Lenny did not participate this year. So the participants last night were Bruce Emberson, who is adorable, Lenny McDavid, who bailed at the last second, Sonny Henrique, Diggsy Bouchard, who I quite do like Diggsy Bouchard.
Diggsy?
Yeah.
Oh, like not Dixie?
No, Diggsy. Yeah.
Like digging in the ground?
Although I want to say that last year Bouchard was using a different breed of dog, so I don't know if there was maybe a
you call it
trade
a ringer?
or something. Or, I mean, you said, or no, Cece said with us that McDavid's going to start showing up with greyhounds because Lenny embarrassed him so bad last year. And we were like, Cody Ceci, we get why everyone likes you. You're so cool.
When I was a kid, on the subject of greyhounds, when I was a kid, I went to a summer camp, and the guy who like was the head counselor or whatever had 2 greyhound, like rescue greyhounds, and he was like, "Okay, we're like, you know, we're all gonna do the thing where we do relay races and 100-yard dash and all that." And he's like, "Okay, we're gonna take the 3 fastest kids in the 100-yard dash. I'm gonna give you a 75-yard head start, and these dogs are gonna blow your fucking doors off." And sure enough, they ripped us apart. It was crazy.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
It ruled.
The last 2 participants, Willow Nugent Hopkins, who I will say like top 5 beautiful beast on the planet, just an absolutely gorgeous golden retriever, and newcomer Phoebe Stetcher. And I was sending this around to some folks. I was like, hey, everybody's watching this tonight, right? And everybody, to a person, said, I'm pulling for Phoebe Stetcher. Sean, could you give us Phoebe Stetcher's run?
Team White, make some noise for the dog.
She's beautiful.
Beautiful dog.
Phoebe.
It's a big boy or big girl. Sorry.
Yeah, she's
Big
good
body.
size.
High event dog. Oh, look at it.
This is the dramatic lead up. There it goes.
Oh, Phoebe's hustling.
Oh, she's cooking.
Keep going, Phoebe. Done. Blow.
Straight line dog.
And Sean, if you could next give us the result of the whole thing. That's your winner. Phoebe Stetcher won. So good, so adorable.
Amazing. Good of her to like stay on the podium too. I don't know. My dog certainly wouldn't fucking do it.
I love her doing it with, I mean, obviously it's a different body type, different game, but her run versus Hugo's run, Hugo was just like pounding that ice.
A lot more graceful.
Big long legs on her. Yeah.
Would you go to your respective team? Like if the Bruins had one of these, Pete, I feel like the vibes around like a Bruins dog thing, I wouldn't be as
not this year
into. Yeah, I feel like you'd make jokes about are they having
we made the
redacted run?
We made the jokes last year about like, would the Oilers have been able to have this kind of night had things been going the way that they did to start the season?
Oh,
and like things, that's the danger in having one of these kinds of nights. Like, are you going to have oops, I'll fuck around when your team is a bunch of assholes? Like, did the Vancouver Canucks do this when JT Miller and Elias Pettersson want to like shank each other in the locker room? I don't know. You got there's a real possibility of it being a little weird.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and for my favorite, like in the case of if it's Edmonton, and knowing that Edmonton does that better than anybody else because we've never seen anybody else do it, I would pay 500 Canadian to go to that event.
That's a lot of money.
Just because in my brain, ridiculous. I'm like, that means
it's too much money.
I'm just guessing that's a lot lower number, but that must be an insane event to attend. And granted, the rough relay part is like 12 minutes long. It's not that long.
Right.
But
the times that you would have, just the fun in the arena watching that stuff, it would be nonstop. I
gotta tell you though, you could just like go drink at a dog park and get a pretty similar experience in terms of look how fast that one is.
Just bring a podium.
Way less socially acceptable though.
Bring a podium to a dog park and see what happens.
Yeah.
Just
see who wants it.
Yeah. Amazing. Other things that happened over the weekend, Kirill Marchenko got hit by a puck on the bench. His jaw is broken. His recovery timeline, based on other such injuries, would put him in the 6 to 8 week range. If he misses Stadium Series, I am going to do I don't know what, because a lot of our content this year was just built around, oh my God, Blue Jackets doing Stadium Series. They're probably going to have sick jerseys. They do. Let's go there, do a bunch of stuff with them. Adam Werenski Zach Werenski, I'm sorry, holding up his end of the bargain by being like the best player in the world. But man, the Monahan injury breaks my heart.
Oh man,
Marchenko, especially like we were gonna go there, and everyone's gonna be trying to do stuff with Werenski, with Monahan. Marchenko's our guy. We would do endless stuff with him if we could. Hopefully, he's ready to go. He's having such a good season, such a heart and soul member of that team. I hate to see it.
Yeah, I mean, selfishly, I want to see him at Stadium Series. And now I wonder, like, what Columbus does heading into, like, the trade deadline. Before, I was on the train of you should be buyers. You should try to capitalize on, like, the momentum you've got here and see where it takes you. But, like, if you're missing Monahan and Marchenko for an extended period of time, I think that really changes your outlook.
It's Elvis time. It's got to just be the best player in the NHL for the rest of the season, and they're good.
No problem. It's fine.
He's done it before. We'll do it again.
That's right.
Just a normal little stretch for him. There was a lot of smoke about, and I don't know if this was just rumor mongering or whatever, but like, what about Elias Pettersson?
They did kick that up. I feel like a little bit like the day before the Miller trade. They were like, Columbus wants to get, Buffalo wants to get, and that to your point, that felt to me like let's think of a shitty team who sucks.
Yeah,
that would trade for him, like where they are in their rebuild. Or obviously Columbus's results don't suck this year, but like just you look at that roster and you're like, okay.
I don't want Elias Pettersson on the Blue Jackets, mainly for what it would cost. Like, are you giving up Caden Lindstrom in that deal?
Yeah, you would have to give up quite a bit, I would think.
Yeah,
even with the money.
Want to do that? Also, shout out my guy JVR, just getting smoked in the face.
Yeah,
and he's like,
tooth stuck in his lip.
Bitch, I'm JVR. Maybe that's I said at the beginning of the season when we were discussing which jerseys would we get, I was planning on getting a Werenski USA and then Stadium Series, leave it open to go in any sort of direction. JVR's in the mix now. JVR Stadium Series jersey? Don't hate it.
2 JVR jerseys over the last 2 years from his respective teams would be very funny. Good for you, though.
This guy
You'd be
loves
the only
JVR.
person on the planet that would
I
have
do
those
love
2.
JVR.
Yeah,
That guy
sure.
was his first couple of years with the Flyers, stud.
Sean, I got to get your feelings on an event that happened yesterday, which was Tage Thompson getting buried by Stefan Nason in that Sabres Devils game, and absolutely zero response from anybody on the ice.
Yeah, I mean, it was not a good look in the moment. Hearing guys talk about it afterwards, they at least are claiming, like Matthias Samuelsson said he didn't see it, so he didn't know who actually hit them, and they were winning the game. And Zucker was like, if I go grab some random guy, I'm going to get 2-5 and a 10, and that could cost us the game. Blah blah blah. All valid. I get it. But in the moment, I feel like something's got to happen, especially because Nason's was being an asshole all game. But I don't know, Sabres fans in the aftermath, in the moment, the frustration is very valid. But once you get away from the moment, there's no reason to do something stupid and punish somebody else and potentially cost yourself that game. It's obviously a microcosm of the Sabres at large being soft, but just not a good look in the moment, especially considering what this team has been over the course of this year.
I'm assuming they have another game later this year.
No, I don't believe so.
Oh.
Because they played 2 already earlier.
Oh, right.
Rob Ray was making quite the big deal on the broadcast about thankfully not having to go to New Jersey, because apparently he hates it, which don't blame him.
Okay.
I don't think they have to play each other again. It is what it is.
I had a problem with it. Definitely
moment,
had a problem
for
with it. You do something, anything. The linesman jumped in, grabbed Nason pretty quickly, not super quickly, not to the point where they couldn't have grabbed him, but he was somebody's going to go after this guy, and nobody even approached Nason. There was zero response. If they had even just skated over, grabbed Nason, grabbed anybody, do something.
Again,
and this is the second time in 2 weeks, because remember when Zadorov took his little run at Peterka, and it wasn't the biggest deal, but he checked him in the boards final minute of a game, the 6-2 at that point. No Buffalo Sabres came over and said a goddamn thing to Zadorov. You just can't let people take free runs at your best players, no matter the situation, and have zero pushback, especially when you're the Buffalo Sabres and you've been facing these allegations and these criticisms for years.
That's
at this
the
point.
thing. I feel in the moment, I believe the guys when they the play was going the other way. It was behind the play. I believe that most of them, if not all, the other four guys on the ice did not know what had happened. They didn't see it, and so not wanting to do something stupid in that moment without actually knowing who you're supposed to go after, I understand. But the reason this is a big deal is because you've been soft all year, and so even if in this moment not doing anything was the right call, the reason you are getting this criticism, even if it's unfair, is because there's been plenty of moments where you should have done something and you didn't, and you got criticized.
I would also
fairly.
argue that a bigger picture thing is the Buffalo Sabres not knowing what's going on in the third period in a lot of different games this season. They should probably pay closer attention.
Their problem is they don't know what's going on in the first or second period.
Well, no, first period they know what's going on because they've been kicking ass in first periods all
Talk to
season.
the Colorado Avalanche about that shit, brother.
They just
That would happen.
second and third period. And I mean, it was made way worse by the fact that happened. They got a 5-minute power play and then immediately gave up a shorthanded goal.
Yeah.
That is just Buffalo Sabres hockey. I would like to see, but as people pointed out too, they've tried to do stuff like this with getting a Steve, just getting a tough guy to beat people up is also not going to just solve these problems.
Yeah, they tried that when Lucic ran over Ryan Miller, and it fucking turned them into the team they are today.
This is not the same thing.
You don't get one guy to answer for all the things.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
You have the culture
John
that
Scott
is you
and Steve
answer.
Ott
Well, that's what I'm
fixed
saying.
it all.
They-
It
exactly.
actually broke their franchise.
It literally,
Yes.
that
to a
moment
degree that has
broke
not
their
been
franchise
repaired.
irreparably for
Currently.
a decade and a half.
Yeah.
I remember I wrote about it at the time. All these Sabres fans, probably the most commented on story I ever wrote was me being like, these guys are just going to go out and get a bunch of morons who suck, and because they want to beat up Milan Lucic, and they're going to get left behind. And then that's what happened. But Sabres fans at the time were like, we'll have them beat you up too, brother.
Didn't we see in Chicago? Didn't we see Steve Ott?
Yes, yeah, because
We watched by Steve Ott, and Sean was like, I don't like that guy.
I don't care. I don't care about Steve. I have a Steve autographed puck. In my,
famously, I did know that.
Sabres fans do.
A little
Sabres
PTSD.
have problems with everybody. I would like to see a moment where they're just like, you know what, line brawl. Like let's just show everybody. Like at this point, even for the fans, let's just show people because you're not making the fucking playoffs this year. Who gives a shit if you lose a game?
I mean, your upcoming schedule, brother.
I know, but like, just do something that makes it seem like
wins in a row because they're only going to be 8 points out.
The Buffalo is such like a blue collar, hard scrabble city. Like I like when teams represent the city that they play in, and it's just like do something to show that you actually care about being a Buffalo Sabre.
Ryan Hartman with some dumb shit on Tim Stützle. Unfortunately, no time for hit chat today. Beanpot tonight.
The Beanpot.
RL. Why don't you fill us in?
Well,
you don't care about the Beanpot.
no. Well, so here's the thing. I love college hockey. Like any excuse I have to go to a college hockey game, I'm going to take it. I love it. It's the best. And so like, I'm excited to go there tonight and watch 2 games. Like there are 2.5 good teams there tonight.
Being BC, BU, and
half of Northeastern. And also Harvard's going to play. So that's fun.
Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard.
That is true.
Wow.
Why is Northeastern so good at the Beanpot and like nothing else?
They really get up for it.
Any
And
given
like,
Monday.
here's the thing is their problem has for a long time been the top half of their lineup is really good. And then we just kind of don't play the bottom half of the lineup. And so like, you know, a guy like Gunnar Wolf Fontaine, who now he's at Ohio State, I want to say. But like, that's a guy that just like, when the Beanpot came around, he's like, I'm a pretty good player. I go fucking psycho in the Beanpot. I just score goals left, right, and center. Like, it's crazy. And they've also traditionally, in the last several years, had very good goaltending. Caden Primo and then Devin Levi and now Cameron Whitehead is like all good to elite college goalies. And so it's a 2-game tournament. You know, if you get a guy who can make 35 saves for you, you're in great shape.
You brought up Gunnar Wolf Fontaine, who obviously was a stud last year and a big topic on this show. He is at Ohio State right now.
Yeah.
And he's awesome
Yeah, he's
at
sick.
Ohio. He's going off at Ohio State.
He's also one of those guys where I'm pretty sure he's like 23, 24.
I was going to say he's like 5 years older than everybody else.
That's exactly right. So
because he played 4 years at Northeastern.
he did. And so like, what's he at? Predators draft pick, I want
Predators,
to say?
yep, seventh round pick, yep.
But yeah, he's awesome, but he also should be because he's older than everybody. You know?
So it's the like 20 or like 19, 20-year-old guy in the OHL that's tooling on people.
That's exactly
because he's
right.
just gone. Yeah, but he's 27 points in 26 games. Points are kind of hard to come by in college hockey, folks. So
yeah, it's
point
a
per
weird
game
year for
guy.
that. It's a weird year for that, for sure.
Damn.
But Northeastern, they are going for the 3-peat. I guess I should have said earlier.
Yeah.
5 out of their last 6, right?
They've won 5 of the last 6, so they're going for their second 3-peat in like 7 years.
And BC hasn't won in 8 years.
BC hasn't even been to the final, I think, since 2019.
That's
or
crazy.
2018 maybe.
Yeah.
And so like they're playing Northeastern tonight. I say good luck to the Huskies. I've seen just quirks of the schedule and stuff like that. I've seen the last 5 BC games. I think the stat I looked up was they haven't allowed a 5-on-5 goal since like early January.
Jesus.
Like 7 or 8 games in a row.
I
No.
cannot wait for Hockey East.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Jacob Fowler didn't play in their last game. He's their goalie, Montreal pick. He is day to day apparently. They found out pretty late in the day that he couldn't go, or relatively late in the day.
We saw
that
him
he
last
couldn't
week.
go.
He's fine.
I saw him after you guys did.
Yeah, but yeah, I just like I feel like we like got to know him and everything. Like,
Sure.
he's fine.
Well, so anyway,
I'm kidding.
he didn't play, and their backup, who they've barely used this year, like 22 save shutout, no problem. Nobody got anywhere near the net, and
Machine.
they played. I want to say their last 6 games have been against top 10 teams, and they've easily defeated all of them. So like they're just rolling at such a high level right now. But last year they were like more of a we're going to win a lot of 4-2 games, and this year they're like we're going to win a lot of 3-1 games.
Oh, so that's actually I was going to ask if you can tell how good Fowler is because
He's
people,
fucking unbelievable, man. Like he's like when Connor Hellebuck was in college, and it's like, oh, every shot just hits him square in the chest, huh? Okay.
What's the hierarchy of Montreal Canadiens goaltending prospects? Because it seems like there's a pipeline there.
Pipeline.
I think he has to be number one.
Really?
If he
Over
comes back
Montembeault?
Sam Montembeault, you think?
I mean, Sam
Is he
Montembeaul's
a
on
prospect? He's 27 years old.
Is he that old?
He's got to be up there.
I thought he was like in like mid-20s.
I mean, just given that we've seen him for a few years
He's
now.
28 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he
October-
was way younger.
Goal-
than
he
that.
turns
hit the league
29
late,
this
brother.
year.
Goalies.
Wow.
That's exactly right, DJ. But yeah,
Damn.
I would be shocked if he's back for a third season at BC. He's fucking same with Ryan Leonard, Gabe Perreault. Like they just have so many guys that are huge.
Is
difference
Leonard
makers.
as good as?
Yeah, I saw that hat trick. Well, let's put it this way: I saw. I've been to his last 3 games. I saw him score 2 hat tricks. So
Disgusting.
one of the hat tricks, 2 goals were into an empty net. So it's a little, but
I'm still
7 goals in his last 3 games.
I have a hard time wrapping my head around Sam Montembeault being 28 years old.
Yeah, I mean,
It's one of those things, man.
born in 1996.
So I
29
have
this
the
year.
opposite of. I have a hard time considering that a defenseman is young because they also used to reach the league a little later. But defensemen now, they'll hit the NHL at 20 years old, no problem. Goalies don't.
19, same
goalies
thing.
still don't really do that. So if a goalie's been in the league for a couple years, I'm like, oh yeah, he's like 38.
Yep.
How about Higgins? Where is he on like a Celebrini scale?
He's not Macklin Celebrini. He is probably the best freshman in college, like by a decent enough margin that I don't know who I would say is number 2. Without just going with like a goalie who has the opportunity behind a good team. There's a couple of guys that kind of fit that bill. But Hagen, as far as skaters go, I don't know that there's a better freshman in college this year. And like Celebrini, I would say Hagens has kind of played his way out of the number 1 pick conversation a little bit, but that's not, he had some bad luck. He shot like 3% for the first however long of the season. But now they found something that works with him and Gabe Perreault and Teddy Stiga. And like this kid is so like he sees the ice so well. He's such a good playmaker. He just doesn't shoot the puck as much as you might want some games. Other games he shoots constantly. But like if he's deferring to Ryan Leonard, like who can blame him?
And Stiga absolutely rocks. This is the
He's
second,
so
by the way, where
sick.
we just go down BC's lineup and it's like that guy's fucking sick, right?
Yeah.
You got to appreciate BC this year. They are just so stacked. And
Like
so
I said,
nasty.
they're I would say they're on paper worse than they were last year because they don't have Cutter Gauthier is the main reason why. But like I said, like they're way more built for what I guess you would call like playoff hockey, where they're not going to give.
They
up
don't have the
anything.
guy who's going to go on the microphone before the national championship and be like, everybody's going to cry on the
That
other
was
side.
the
It's
best.
fucking crazy.
That was the best. I can't
Crazy.
his teammates must have wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
But I wanted to hug him so much. It was like so cool.
From the outside looking in, is it BC and Michigan State and like everybody else this year?
Yeah, I'd say there's a growing gap between BC and Michigan State. They've been like jockeying for the last little while, but hey, speaking of Gunnar Wolf-Fontaine and Ohio State just beat Michigan State on last Thursday. So and BC hasn't lost since like their first game back from break.
Well, now that Pete accidentally pointed out that, Sam Montembeault is not a young guy, people are coming up with mean nicknames for him, such as Sam Montembold. So that's not very nice. Let's do a slate grade. Ryan, are you familiar with the slate grade?
Familiar enough, I guess.
We go through all the games. We talk about which bowls or revenge games might be going down.
Are you sure you still want to do a slate grade? The show's been going on for an hour and a half, and this is going to be a long one.
We
There's a
should
lot of
definitely do a
games.
slate
I
grade.
know, I'm
It is a
kidding.
short slate grade.
I think we can try to squeeze one in,
Okay.
possibly. Let's see.
What kind of slate we got tonight?
Oh, there it is.
Wow.
We have at kicking us off and tucking us in at 7:30 p.m. Eastern in the United States and Canada. We have the Senators at Predators, which is Pete.
That is it's a Tyler Ennis bowl.
It's a Tyler Ennis Bowl. It's a Mike Fisher Bowl.
It's a Nick Cousins bowl.
It's a Nick Cousins Bowl. I think we're going to get are we getting a Matt Duchene Bowl out of that one?
Yeah.
We're getting a Matt Duchene Bowl.
It's an Eric Goodbranson bowl.
It's a Radek Bonk Bowl.
Yep.
Let's see.
It's a Mike Fisher bowl. Did you already say that one?
You did
Mike
say
Fisher.
Mike Fisher. I'm trying to think.
Only one goalie.
One goalie who's played one game for each of these two teams.
Oh, Christ.
It is a Mike Sillinger Bowl.
Wow.
It is.
I mean, most games are a Mike Sillinger Bowl.
It's a Michael
Del
Delzato Bowl.
That's a good one.
It's another guy bounced around.
Oh, you know what? This one I truly would get if I thought about it. It's a David Legwand Bowl.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I have no recollection of Legwand on the Senators, but I will simply take
obviously
your
the
word
Predators, though. Yeah.
The one goalie,
Mm-hmm.
Magnus Hellberg, played one game, a full 60 minutes for the Ottawa Senators, and played 12 minutes and 12 seconds in one game for the Nashville Predators.
What year was that? The Predators game?
2014. The one
Later than I would have guessed.
The one Senators game was
Later than I
11
would
years
have
ago.
guessed.
the one Senators game was 2023.
Wow.
No
That
idea
is-
what Rose.
That is a Calvin. That's like a less experienced Calvin Pickard.
okay.
Like did some shit like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Oops.
Now
Relevant
he's
again.
Oops.
quick run through of his career. 2013, 2014, one game for the Nashville Predators. 2015, 2016, one game for the New York Rangers. 2016, 2017, two games for the New York Rangers. And then big gap, 21, 22, one game for the Detroit Red Wings. 22, 23, played 18 total games, one for the Ottawa Senators and another 17 for the Detroit Red Wings. And then 3 games for Pittsburgh last season, 23, 24.
This man is the cup of coffee king.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Aiden Hill is jealous of this guy. The coffee that this boy drinks.
Career save percentage, 890.
Not good. Do have to say, I lied. Intentionally. I named a guy who is, it's not a bull. So
You can't do that without us knowing that you're going to be.
And especially when we're all naming bowls. And after, and this was on all of us, after we'll call it the Paul Coffee incident. We got to be careful with that.
That's true. That is true.
Who did you name that was wrong?
It was the first name that I threw out there. It is not a Tyler Ennis Bowl. Tyler Ennis never played for the Nashville Predators.
Oh, okay.
That sounds, yeah.
It's very believable, though.
God,
Let me just
team
double
You know what?
check.
Let's keep this college hockey.
Yeah,
I could tell you this is a Bobby Butler Bowl.
that's right.
Remember Bobby
UNH's
Butler?
own. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That guy probably knows JVR. Maybe. Did they play their own?
No, they wouldn't.
No, they would miss
Bobby
by, like,
Butler
one
would have been
year.
a skosh too late if I had to guess.
Yeah.
We have a guy on this list, Yves Soro,
Mm-hmm.
who played. I don't know how he shows up on the list because it lists him as. Oh no, it has 22 games played. I was misreading. But Stephen Elliott, 3 games for the Nashville Predators or for the Ottawa Senators, 2 games for the Nashville Predators.
Wow.
Somebody, we have to start to call whenever there's one game. Empty Net Poppy says Stanley Cup Final Game 7 ass slate. Love that
Well,
one.
hey,
It's just one
I
game.
got 2 games on the slate for you.
Yeah.
BC Northeastern is the late game. I said it in the wrong order.
They're talking
Harvard
us in.
BU is the.
Yeah.
I didn't talk about BU.
I will be
They're
doing
pretty
both
good.
of those.
Speaking
Did
of,
you guys see the BU goalie thing?
Yes.
You were trying to.
Oh,
mention it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was in the tunnel when that happened.
Really?
Yeah, I was
So
like,
it's your fault.
I
You opened the door.
I saw the door open.
Ryan Lambert's fingerprints are all over that gate.
But yeah, I was like trying to get video for the Elite Prospects like TikTok page or whatever, and they opened the door and he just went, and everybody was like, what do we do? And the linesman was like, well, I'll tell you one thing you don't do is go on the ice with him.
Jay Pandolfo will be in the tunnel with a gun tonight.
Yes.
No kidding.
No, did you see they the other night BU tweeted like he leads us out for whatever, and I quote tweeted it with no penalty, and then the clip from Insecure where she says, "You know what that is? Growth."
Yes,
That's
there you
right.
go.
Speaking of games,
Good goal.
was in Florida for the weekend and almost went to a Tampa Bay Lightning game.
Mhm.
Ultimately, did not attend this game. It was the Lightning against the Islanders.
The red hot New York Islanders.
Yes, not a particularly interesting
Emphasis
game.
on red.
But what's that?
Nothing.
What'd you say?
No,
He
he
said
said
the
it.
red hot New York Islanders, and I said emphasis on red.
Yes. And didn't go to the game. Tickets were pricey. It would have been like an hour and a half drive. When I saw how that game ended, which was it went to overtime, and a breakaway overtime winner, an electric goal was scored by Tony D'Angelo.
Fuck yeah.
I don't know why.
Your NHL minutes per night leader,
I
Tony
was
D'Angelo.
so mad I didn't go to that game and see it. I'm also horrified at what any of the reactions would have been, because Lightning fans would have been like, fuck, oh no, our team lost. I'm pretty sure I would have been like, oh, that's the funniest funniest thing in the world.
You gotta root for the funniest possible outcome in
There you
all
go.
sports.
And
Absolutely.
as purveyors of chaos, I mean, caught the Lightning game. How'd it end? Tony D'Angelo breakaway
OT
goal
winner.
that was pretty sick.
It was
then
pretty
everyone
good,
was
yeah.
like, Tony.
They carried
What a
him out on
league.
their
It's so
shoulders.
This
funny.
league. And then like on the way back, check my phone and be like, Luka Doncic is on the Lakers. What a night.
Crazy.
Just an insane weekend.
Apparently,
Absolutely insane
apparently Luka
weekend.
Doncic bought a $15 million house in Dallas last week.
That's tough.
Jesus, man.
You hate to see that. What's the return policy on that?
All right, folks. We do apologize. WTG Paul says next time Ryan is on, please add an NSFW tag. He's so handsome.
Wow.
And check out his MJ Lenderman little. Is that a long sleeve or a?
No, that's just a regular T-shirt.
Oh, it looks so great on him.
Thank you.
It's a basketball thing. You know that
Mhm.
he's got a beach house in Buffalo.
That's I heard.
Yeah,
So
Palm
did Pat
trees
Kane.
everywhere.
he's right. So that's what Kevin Adams doesn't understand.
No excuses. Doesn't
They're
know ball.
they're recruiting indie darlings like that. If you have not subscribed, everybody, please subscribe. Pete, why don't you tell the folks what to do with the like button?
What you just said, hit that subscribe button, but also please like the video. That is the thumbs up button right below the video player. Also, if you're on audio, go to YouTube, subscribe to us, even if you don't purvey YouTube all the time. We would also like for, if you're on YouTube, go to audio, Spotify, Apple Music, 5 stars. All those good things, they all help us. So please, thank you very much.
Also, as Four Nations gets closer and closer and closer, we've got more Four Nations stuff coming. We're going to have some jerseys soon to don. That's going to be lovely. And we've got an event coming up on February 17th, the day that has Finland, Canada, and USA, Sweden. We are going to be hunkered down, setting up shop, doing a show, streaming, meet and greeting. Should we just say where it is? So like a soft launch on the episode?
Sure.
It's going to be at Hurricanes, which is right across from the Garden. Great place. They do a lot. They're great for live broadcasts. Felger and Maz does stuff there all the time. We're so excited to work with them. So if you're going to these Four Nations games on that Monday, set up at Hurricanes. It's where we're going to be all day. We're going to watch the Finland-Canada game, and then we're going to do a bunch of stuff in between. So if you want to hang out, get ready for the USA-Sweden. And then I'll be honest, we'll probably unplug and just straight up go to that game, and it's going to be an absolute party. We hope you can join us. More details coming, but just a heads up if you were planning on going to Boston for Four Nations. We will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks so much to RL for coming. You are our favorite guy. You absolutely rock.
We love you. Want to do it again next week? I mean, are you gonna be in town next week?
I guess I will.
Oh,
yeah.
RL Mondays would hit at any price
And then
point.
the following Monday is Four Nations, but you'll be busy.
You could come to Hurricanes.
I guess that's true. Well, maybe.
What's your favorite Four Nations jersey?
I have no opinion. I don't care. I couldn't tell you any of them.
Hot takes
Off-
with RL.
off the-
Perfect
top of my
time
head.
to end.
Yeah.
I have no opinion. Do not care. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.